So, it's been a day.
Yeah.
To say the least, right?
Pretty bad one, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been worse, but it was still pretty bad.
Could have been worse. I mean, we're still in the process of it, but basically, we have 2 German Shepherds, 1 wiener dog, and one of our Shepherds, Goose.
Well, I guess we should preface saying that Goose is kind of mischievous. Ever since we got him 2 years ago, he's always had quite a bit of separation anxiety, and I think that comes from his past. He was a stray, and then he was really sick, ended up in a shelter. Someone adopted him, and they had him for about 8-9 months, and I think they just unfortunately
treated him like trash.
Treated him awful. Just very traumatizing for him. So he came to us with no confidence and a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional trauma. And so we've gone through a couple different styles of leaving him at home, and the most effective that we've been having recently is we have this very tall gate that we section off a part of our living room so that there's nothing in there that he can get into, and even if he does, it's maybe like a pillow, or you know, if he chews on a chair or chews on a piece of furniture. Whereas before he was trying to break out of kennels and he would break teeth out of his mouth.
The guy just doesn't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, he just...
So our method has been working really well of gating him into this area with all 3 of the dogs confined, and it's been amazing. And we have a pet camera, and I check it multiple times throughout the day. We felt like we had set everything up for success, and I got up early this morning. I had to be at work at 7:15, so it's about, 7 o'clock, and Zach says, "Hey, I have a headache, can you leave the ibuprofen?" So I take it out of my purse and I put it on the desk that the camera is now on right now, which is usually safely behind the gate that we use to section off the area. It just ended up being a perfect storm of events after that.
I went to the gym, she went to work, came home, and usually, the dogs run out the door. Goose is the one who greets me, and he's crazy. He's insane.
Barks and he's jumping.
Energy's like
spins
up here.
Around and
come into the house, and there's kind of stuff everywhere, and I'm like, shoot, like he got into some stuff. Kind of looking at me weird, like, Goose, what did you do? Like, what'd you get into? And he was kind of looking at me like dumbfounded. He kind of was like walking funny, like super just derpy. Like, he is derpy, but like this was like next level. And I called Lizzie. I was like, I think he got into ibuprofen, and she like lost it. She used to work at a vet clinic, and that's like the #1 thing that like just kills dogs. Mind you, he didn't have a couple. He didn't have 20, 30, 40. He had probably 120 to 150. By that time, we're researching, we're trying to... So by that time, what was I saying?
So you had walked in and you noticed he had opened the ibuprofen bottle. At first you didn't think he ate any, actually.
No, because I saw the bottle. The bottle had probably 20 in it, and so I was like, first off, I didn't know how much was in the bottle before she gave it to me. I thought there was only a couple maybe left or whatever.
It was an almost full bottle of 200 tablets of 200 milligram ibuprofen.
So she knew that he had a ton. I didn't really know, but then I kind of came to the realization, like,
that it was serious.
Like, frick.
I'm going back through the recordings of our pet camera. Also, if you have pets, get a pet camera. Literally is the reason that I think we were able to pinpoint at exactly what time Goose had eaten ibuprofen, at what time he started showing symptoms, and we were able to timestamp everything. So if you don't have a pet camera of some sort, the one we have is like $30, and it is the reason why I believe that he is alive right now.
I'm looking at him, and he's literally like, before my eyes, he's like fading. Like, his eyes are glossed over. He can barely walk, and this is just not like him.
Like, I knew this is serious. Like, I literally told Zach, if we do not take care of this, he's going to not make it.
Yeah. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm like, okay, I just gotta get to my car. I'm literally like fireman carrying Goose out there. He can't walk. So I get him in the car, and I'm just driving like straight down a road, like not knowing where I'm going, but like I'm hoping she can just send me something quick. Sent me like one, and I was like, that's 12 minutes away. He's breathing funny, like there's no way I'm driving 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Sends me another one. Okay, this one's closer. It's like 10 minutes away. I'm like, there's no way. And then she sent me another one. It was like 3 or 4 minutes away. I'm sorry for whoever was driving by me in North Park at this time, but I was probably going 70 miles an hour on a road that you should be going 70 miles an hour on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm weaving through traffic, and I finally get there. This dude, he's literally like resting his head on my arm, and he is dead weight. He's salivating. His eyes are kind of like rolling back. Like, I thought he was dying. He was breathing funny. I got him to the vet. Immediately, the guy goes in there. I don't know, this dude's like a wizard or something. He just like taps Goose by his leg or something. Goose starts throwing up, which you think would be a good thing, right? He's throwing up, but ibuprofen had been in his system for like 2 hours.
He ate it at like 9:15 in the morning, and by the time you had gotten him to the vet, it was about 11:20. This whole time, I call the family that I work for, I call the mom and I'm like, there is an emergency. Is there a chance for you to be able to come home so that I can go be with Zach and Goose, because it is not looking good. So she races home. I'm so grateful for that. And Zach's family that he works for, they were able to give him the day off. And so we're just so grateful for that, because it took us about close to 8 hours before we could come home from all of this.
3 hospitals.
Started at about 11 this morning, and we didn't get home till 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I finally was able to meet up with Zach at the vet, and I just remember I walk in, Goose is just foaming at the mouth, and there's throw up on the ground. He's weeping out of his eyes from all the throwing up. All I could think in that moment was like, oh my gosh, like this dog is not going to make it. Just seeing him in that state was so sad, and so we were able to get him to an emergency vet from there. And the people at the animal hospital, the first one we went to, they were so kind, and they really did help us as much as they can, but they had actually had an emergency come in just before. They were like, we're kind of full right now.
And they weren't 24-hour.
We get in the car,
Yeah.
and Zach is carrying Goose and puts him in the back of my car, and I get in the back seat to sit with Goose to make sure that he's staying awake and he's breathing, and Zach is driving, and I'm trying to direct him towards the emergency hospital that we're going to in Mission Valley. Goose is just like flopping in the back seat, and I'm holding his head up with all of my weight. He just starts vomiting in the car. Sorry if it's TMI. I just have this like moment rush over me of like, this is it. Like, we've spent 2 years getting this dog to a point where he understands that life is great, that not everyone is a threat, that he can have fun and we don't have to be scared, and then he's gonna pass away on us.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get into the emergency vet. Thankfully, the vet that we started at called to make sure that they had a spot, so they knew we were coming. And Zach just laid Goose on the ground, and he just laid there, like
melting into the ground. Like, there is not much life in him. Like,
none at all.
At that point, it's kind of hard to watch, to be honest.
A nurse came out with a gurney, and Zach picked him up and just laid his somewhat lifeless body on there. We went and sat down for a second, and they're like, okay, we can get you guys in a room. I'm just sobbing in the room because, you know, I know the outcome. It's either gonna be super expensive, which we couldn't afford, or there's no hope. The doctor came in and she just said, we have 2 options. One of them was he could stay at that vet for 4 or 5 days, cost up to about $25,000, and in the end he would probably not make it.
Because there had been a dog that went to the same vet a week prior.
Yeah,
or,
a week, 2 weeks prior.
Same situation. They decided to keep the dog there. They like went through the whole process of trying to get him better. And then by like day 3 or 4, like, dog was done. 20 grand deep, it's like, to hear that your dog dies, you know.
The treatment that Goose would need to overcome this is called a plasma nephrosis. It's very extensive, very expensive. It was the only chance he had. The doctor told us, look, you can either leave him here for 4 or 5 days with a terrible outcome and spending tens of thousands of dollars, or you can invest $8,000 into a treatment that is curative. And so we were like, okay, well, first of all, we don't have $8,000 to $10,000. Trying to figure out what to do, we applied for the care credit, a great tool that people can use for medical, for dental, for veterinary bills. There's a lot of resources in that area for sure. We weren't able to get enough to cover the costs. We were just like, is Goose going to be an unfortunate event of economic euthanasia, meaning that you're not able to give the care that your dog needs because of finances? I would have hated to do that, but sometimes I know people don't have any other option. But for us, the fact that this treatment could save Goose was the one thing that we were clinging on to. So they're like, look, there's one other option. It's to get a grant through the FACE organization. I can't tell you the amount of gratitude that I have for the situation, because we were able to get almost all of Goose's vet costs covered. So after doing that, they were like, okay, you need to take him to a specialty hospital up in Sorrento Valley and get him in the car. And at this point, he is walking again, which is great.
But the health can decline very quickly,
Yeah.
especially with, you know, the amount of ibuprofen that he had.
Yeah.
So
We get to the specialty hospital, and at this point we're just exhausted. We're like 4 or 5 hours in at this point. Goose is exhausted. We, you know, meet the vets and the people who are gonna help him. They're just the most incredible people. The vet was
Super
willing
great.
to jump through any hoop to save Goose, and I
Yeah.
really felt that. It's really great to know that on the other side that people care just as much about your pet as you do. I think honestly people could see how much we care about Goose and how much
Yeah.
we
We've
have
worked-
invested into
Yeah.
him.
we've worked so hard. Like, he's my dude. Like, he is my shadow.
Yeah.
Follows me around everywhere. It's my first dog that, like, I've actually felt like, okay, this dude, like, he understands me. As weird as that, if you're not a dog person, you won't understand that. But if you are a dog person, you do understand that.
Yeah.
To see that they were gonna help us out, like, that was super, like, I'm not trying to get emotional on this vlog,
Oh yeah, me neither.
but such a relief to know that they were fighting for him.
You know, we were able to get all of the funding approved. We just have a little bit left that we need to raise. The FACE organization recommended that we start a GoFundMe, and we've had so much support
Like, people
from friends
reaching
and
out.
family, and not even just the people who've donated, but the people who have sent messages and said that they're praying for us and thinking about us, and just all those things that are absolutely invaluable. Aside from the money, yes, of course, the donations that people made go towards us being able to bring Goose home, but the support of the people around us and their love and their generosity and their kindness, like,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. Yeah, it's been a long day. I'm emotional, but the gratefulness is there. I can't imagine being in this situation without the people that have been by our side. Both of our sets of parents, our siblings, really good friends of ours.
Our
and
bosses.
Our bosses. As of right now, Goose is stable. He is heavily sedated as they do the plasma treatment.
Yeah. We'll know by probably tomorrow morning how he's doing.
And they're hopeful that he'll be able to be home within the next 2 days. Our house feels a little bit empty without him.
Yeah.
Which I know some people probably think we're crazy for having 3 dogs, like 2 German Shepherds.
In our tiny little house.
And a wiener dog in 600 square feet. We love it. Like, we love our dogs, we love our life, we love our lifestyle. It's not flashy, but it's meaningful for us.
Yeah. He's not flashy, but we got style. We got style over here.
Rigby, you're so cute.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning. Hope you're doing great on this beautiful Friday. Obviously, as you guys know, we've been going through just the stuff with Goose, and so it's been super stressful. But at this point, it's like it's just in God's hands, and you know we've done all we could do. We're just gonna keep praying. And we got a text from the doctor this morning, and Goose is stable. They're gonna be getting his blood work done pretty soon here, so our hopes are that, you know, his blood looks good, everything's clean, and all the toxins and everything are out of his body, and then after that he can come home. So praying for the best. On my way to go pick up Goose. He ended up being okay and everything worked out. It was very, very successful. We got a phone call from the doctor saying that he's ready to be picked up. I'm like 5 minutes from the hospital right now. Just couldn't be more grateful for everyone's support. I have no words. You know, this was just a miracle. What I thought I was gonna lose my boy. That was a really rocky 24 hours. Oh man, heart is so full. I'm not gonna cry right now, even though I want to. Currently sleeping in my front seat. They had to shave his neck. He had a catheter in his jugular, catheter in his leg. I'm happy to have our dude back. Alright, Goose is about to get home.